More pandemic planning for the return to school. The Toronto District School Board has approved a mandatory vaccination policy. This as pressure mounts for vaccine passports from doctors from across the province. But we begin our COVID coverage with a united front from medical officers of health from across Ontario.
They say if the Ford government won't implement vaccine passports, they'll do it themselves. CTV's John Woodward is live at Michael Garron Hospital with the latest. John.
Nathan, the path to a vaccine passport in Quebec was straight because the provincial government wanted one. Here in Ontario, it could still happen, but only with a workaround.
They're on board. Yes, we're all on board. Yes.
That's the medical officer of health for Eastern Ontario on Ottawa's CTV Morning Live with an unorthodox proposal on vaccine passports.
In the absence of a provincial approach, I know that my colleagues are willing to go the regional level. And what we're trying to do, if it's going to go regional, we want it to make it as uniform and widespread as possible.
Dr. Paul Remiliotis says a regional approach, but of all 34 health regions, would add up to what would be, in practice, a province-wide vaccine passport designed to reduce COVID-19 spread and increase vaccinations. That would follow in the footsteps of Quebec, Manitoba, and BC, colored green on this map, which will require proof of vaccination to visit many venues and businesses. In yellow, provinces with a certificate system but no mandate, and in red, provinces with no system. With this proposal, Ontario could turn from red to green. Ontario's government has said its receipts are good enough, with the health minister saying the version of the vaccine receipt contains a watermark and digital signature to deter forgery. Not really, says Dr. Remiliotis, pushing a digital approach.
The receipt that they have, I printed it out, I have it in my hands here for myself, is very hard to read. It is easily forgeable, and you could lose it and so on.
Obviously, we would prefer, I think, medical officers of health around the province, myself included, would very much prefer if a consistent provincial approach and instrument were used. I think it really allows for consistency, both in terms of settings where it may be applied, in terms of how it might be developed and distributed, and I think that's really my recollection of that, rather than the idea that everyone was willing to go it alone. I don't think that's a fair characterization.
I would certainly be urging the province to consider vaccine passports now, as they seem to be the most credible alternative to us introducing capacity limits, which is very much like going back to the lockdown areas.
The Ontario Liberals say a sum of regions approach shouldn't be necessary.
I think that kind of coherent and easy to understand approach is the very best way to make sure that we all deal with the fourth wave, and so that the disruption that it might cause is as minimal as possible.
There have already been discussions with Toronto-based Vector Health Labs, whose CanaTrace Perimeter app could do the job without any provincial investment. Dr. Remiliotis says if there's no action from the province, the timeline for this regional approach could be as early as September.
Officers of health say they want the province to act first, but say they're also obligated to protect people from COVID-19. Reporting live from outside Michael Garron Hospital, I'm John Woodward.